Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm currently right now editing this video right now, and I realized that for my intro I only have half of the audio. I think something went wrong when I was recording my intro, so I'm doing it right now. This isn't usually how I do my intro videos, but for this case, this is the way that I have to do it. Overall, for the rest of the footage, I have all of the audio set and ready, so that should be fine. But for some reason, the intro was just not working out. So yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. And yeah, so for this video, I recreated this makeup look that I found on Pinterest. It's by this girl Gabrielle. She is known for her TikToks, and she also has an Instagram. I'll leave it down below. And I just felt very inspired because this look kind of gives me like my vision for 2021, and throughout this video I reflect on both 2020 and set my goals for next year. So if you want to see how I recreated her look today, then keep on watching. Now for today, I'm just going to be putting my hair back with this headband. So for primer today, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Putty Primer. And I'm just going to start taking this on my finger. Looking back at this year, I am 19 and I still don't have a license. So looking back at 2020, I wanted to get my license and I wanted to have my car by the end of the year, and that didn't happen. My New Year's resolution for 2021 is to go get my license and finally get a car, because I am tired of walking and I'm tired of asking people for rides places. I want to be able to take myself shopping if I wanted to. Today I'm going to be switching up my foundation, and I have not done this since I started doing makeup. I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter foundation. And now I'm just going to be putting this on here. And now I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to start dotting this around my face. So now I'm going to take my Morphe Beauty Blender and I'm just going to start blending this in. Okay, this is definitely medium to full coverage. You can barely see the blemishes I had on this side. You can kind of see this one because of the redness. But I feel like if I were to put a little bit more on top of that, it won't show at all. So I'm going to just continue blending this out all the way and see how I like the end product. So this definitely gives off a very good amount of coverage. This isn't my exact skin color, but it'll do for now. I'm just going to continue blending this in. Now for concealer, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I need a new one. But this is in the shade Medium Neutral. Now looking back at 2020, I think I have improved a lot on my makeup skills. I am still not perfect and I am still not where I want to be, but I am happy that I got to improve on my makeup skills. For 2021, I want to just improve more and learn new skills. In 2021, I just want to know that I have improved on my makeup skills just a little bit more. It does not need to be a huge amount, but I want to know that I went from point B to point C now. Since in 2020, I went from point A to point B. I want to make it to point C at the end. Makeup wise, I want to continue putting out new content out there. Now remember, when you're doing your concealer, you want to bring it upward instead of dragging it, and you want to do patting motions instead of just wiping it that way. So yeah, that is my next New Year's resolution. So I have get my license and I have improving my makeup skill. So for today's look, I'm going to be using the Nikita palette for most of it. This is her collab with Morphe. I have used this in a previous video and I still cannot get over how good this palette is. I love it, and you're sleeping on this palette. I think for this look, I'm going to be working in backwards. So usually what I do, I like to start inwards and blend outwards. So since I don't know what color I want to use inward, I'm just going to start with the lightest color and go back into the darkest color. So with my Morphe M456, I'm going to be taking the Shiver Sun Gun and just tapping that in there. and making sure that I have no fallback on my brush. So I'm just going to start on a little bit above my crease and just start sketching it. I don't have that much product on my brush, which is why it's not coming up as a lot. And it is because I just want to create that sketch. So I kind of want to bring this upward and kind of create this crease shape up here. Now I'm just going to start building up that color. Now we're going to bring this a little bit more back, like around this area. You see, for this look, I'm kind of doing it a little bit more upward instead of just keeping it in my eye area. I'm bringing it up a little bit past my brows. So now that I kind of have this shape going on, I'm going to be going into my next color. I'm going to be going into my James Charles palette, and I'm going to be picking up a little bit of this shade right here. This is the shade Daddy in the palette. And I'm going to use the same brush, which is my Morphe M456. I'm just going to tap it off a little bit and just create that same sketch. This is just going to darken up this area for when I go back to my darkest color. So in 2020, I graduated high school. And I graduated in the middle of a pandemic, so I did not get the average graduation ceremony. But we did do this parade around my city. I'm so glad that I am now a college student. So for 2021, my New Year's resolution now as a college student is to make the dean's list for the spring semester of 2021 and the fall semester of 2021. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed because my first semester of college was not what I envisioned it to be. It was online and it was just a little bit more difficult, but I ended up getting all of my credits for this semester and passing all of my classes. I'm so glad that I was able to do all of that, knowing how difficult it is to sit behind the screen and actually pay attention. Most of the time I will be on my phone on my TikTok or playing Among Us or something. So my goal for this year, my resolution for this year, education wise, is to make it on the dean's list for both of my semesters this year. Now I'm going to be using a clean blending brush. This is the Morphe Jeffree Star JS8, and I'm just going to just start softening out the edges. Now going back in with my Morphe Nikita palette, I'm going to be taking my Morphe M152 and I'm going to be going into the shade Peacock right here. And I'm actually going to really get in there just so it is more vibrant on the eye. And I'm also going to spray a little bit of setting spray on there so it kind of sticks to the eye once I apply it on. So now in this blank area right here, I'm just going to be applying that shade. I'm going to be using tapping motions to really get that in there. So now that I kind of have this on my eye, I'm going to be doing my lower lash line now. I'm going to be dipping into the shade Visengan and Daddy in both the James Charles palette and the Nikita palette. I'm going to be dipping into both of those shades at the same time and kind of just start building this up and connecting it to the winged out part of this look. I'm going to be going in with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer and my Real Techniques contour brush, and I'm going to really get in there. And I want the sharpest contour in this world, so we're going to just build this upward and we're going to make it very deep. So to make my little details, I'm going to be using, of course, my NYX white liner. And I'm going to start creating lines above my eyebrow. Now for this, we gotta be really careful because this is kind of gonna put the look together. Now these lines don't have to be so perfect since something is going to go right on top of them. They're kind of gonna be like a base. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the liner and I'm gonna create 7 lines. So this is kind of what I ended up with. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be connecting the lines down to my crease and then connecting them all the way down underneath my eyelid. So I'm going to be doing that off camera and I will be right back. So this is kind of what I ended up with. I ended up doing like these little circles at the bottom and the lines are not perfect, but it is because we're literally going to be going back into that white liner later after we apply some color on top of this. So to apply color today, I'm going to be using my Morphe X Jeffree Star JS14 and the shade Shigo in this palette, and I am very excited to use this color in this palette. So I'm going to be taking my brush and just dipping it in there. Now I'm just going to start outlining the white lines. So career-wise for 2021, I want to finish my business plan and stick with it, and I want to be able to fall back on other business plans along the way. So this year in college, I started off as a criminal justice major. I honestly find criminal justice very interesting, but it is very difficult for what I want to do in my life. And after I started working in retail, I said I am never working for somebody a day in my life again. Working for someone else's goal is just not what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I slowly realized that when I started my job in retail. So by the end of 2021, I want to have finished my business plan, or at least have an idea of what I want my business plan to be, so I can be on the right track for 2022. Knowing that, I know that I have to obviously put in the time to create my business plan, and I just need to stay committed to figuring out what I want my business to be and what I am going to be most passionate about, because I love putting in the amount of work for something that I truly want to happen. I wanted to do the white liner on top later because I thought that the green was gonna cover it, but honestly the white liner is so vibrant that it's popping out from the green, so I don't think we're gonna be going back in with the white liner later, but we're gonna see what happens. I'm going to be using my Morphe Jeffree Star JS5 brush to highlight, and I'm going to be taking my Daisy Marquez palette, and I'm going to go a little bit more for a different highlighter shade. I'm going to mix Slime and Icy, and I'm going to start putting that on top of my contour, so to create that greenish highlight. There is no shame in using an eyeshadow as a highlighter because they both do the same thing. Now to do my lashes, I'm going to be using an eyelash curler and my Maybelline Lash Sensational Curvitude mascara, and I'm just going to curl my lashes with this and just apply it upwards. So for next year, I basically just want to continue living the way that I live today and continue having the people that I have surrounded around me. My boyfriend, my family, my in-laws, my friends. Like, I want all of those people still surrounded by me and with all positive energy. And I want next year to be the year where I get to continue walking towards my end goal at the end of all of this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed this look as much as I did. Of course, all of my products will be down below along with all of my social medias and everything else. So I will see you guys next time. Mwah. Happy New Year. Bye.